Welcome to the Marketing Revolution Podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand that everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution Podcast and the Marketing Savage Facebook group, coming to you today with a motherfucking Motivational Monday podcast. And I'm going to talk about some different motivation. I'm going to talk about little of that motivation that comes from the dark side of us. I don't know if you guys remember when Zach Babcock was on the podcast, or if you had listened to that episode, but we talked a little bit about that, harnessing that dark side that's inside of us to actually fuel the type of aggression and the type of, let's just say, controlled anger that is needed, that turns you into a weapon of mass production. That's what I'm talking about. Not a weapon of mass destruction, because we don't want to destruct. We don't want to self-destruct. A lot of people do that. We want to become a weapon of mass production. And the cool thing about this is the more controlled you are over your mind, the more that you can actually utilize some of these techniques where you, per se, lean into the darkness a little bit and become savage, become that savage animal that you need to become to take shit to the next level. So that being said, Andy Frisella had a podcast, and I don't know if it was recently. My wife actually explained it to me. She had listened to it on her walk the other day, and she was trying to explain some of the things that he was talking about. And one of the things that he was talking about was to bite something off, chew it, and then spit it out. Okay. And although I did not listen to the podcast, this is Andy. This definitely came from Andy. Although I did not listen to the podcast, I want to kind of interpret what that means to me. So I'll give you guys an example. As you're on the come up, okay, you're doing things, you're changing, you're literally leveling up. And as you level up, there's going to be jealousy. There's going to be people that don't want to see you go to the next level. They're going to feel as if they have been left behind. They're going to feel that as you are exceeding to the next level, they're going to begin to feel insecure about that. They're going to be forced to look at their own actions. They're going to be forced to put the things that they do, the life that they live, under the type of scrutiny that can only be revealed to them through somebody else near that's increasing and going towards success. And not everybody around you is going to be like this, but don't be surprised if even some of your best friends, some of the best fucking friends that you have, do not be surprised if this happens to them. Because I'm telling you guys, I've leveled up many times in life. And each and every time I do it, I am so surprised of the people that either become jealous, that become fueled with the whole crab in the bucket thing, where literally you put a bunch of crabs in the bucket and they will never let any other crab escape. They will never let any other crab get out of the bucket, because as soon as one crab tries to get out of the bucket, another one will pull it right back down, will pull it right back in. And you're going to face this as you're going up the elevator of success. Look, here's the way I look at it. There's certain floors that you've got to let people off in your life. You don't have to hate them. But you got to let them off. But what you're going to find out as you're moving towards success, things are changing. You're becoming the best version of yourself. You're going to find out that there's chatter out there. There's people saying, yo, Joe is not like he used to be. He's not he's not humble anymore. Or they'll say that you act as if you're too good for them. And all of this kind of shit there's going to be all of this chatter out there. And there's a lot of people that allow this chatter to bring them down. There's a lot of folks that do not want to rock the boat of the tribe, right? So it's almost like the second greatest fear from death is to be like exiled from your own tribe. And a lot of times, as you're moving towards success, you got to be willing to let an old tribe go, and you've got to have the faith that the new one will emerge, right? And that's a hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to do. But what I've learned in life, that as you're doing this and as you're going through these things, as you're becoming the best version of yourself, if you're not with people, if you're not surrounded with people that are like iron, iron sharpens iron. You're surrounded with these people that are more along the lines of like driftwood, right? That just drift. They want to stay right where they're at. They don't want to go to the next level. What you're going to find is that as you're sharpening your iron against them, that you're going to be chunking off their wood. There's going to be little pieces of their ego that's falling apart. And because of that, they're going to turn it around and they're going to lash out at you and they're going to try to pull you right back down. You've continuously got to be focused on getting around people that are like another piece of iron, like another sword, because as you guys come together, you're going to be sharpening each other. That's why iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another. The moment that you get around somebody that's driftwood, meaning when your sword is you're trying to sharpen your sword with them and their wood just keeps falling apart, their ego starts getting involved, they start lashing out at you, they start trying to pull you back down, then you know that you've got to let these people go. You know that you got to move to the next level without them. At no point in your life should you ever allow anybody to stop you from becoming the biggest, best version of yourself, the version that God created you to be. Now, one of the cool things about it is what Andy Frisella was talking about, to go full circle with the podcast, is that you should chew on it and spit it out. What he's saying there is that you shouldn't digest that negative chatter, right? Because when you digest it, it gets in your system like poison. Okay. This shit is like poison. It literally fills you with pain, hurt, sorrow. You begin to care. Here's what you should do on the days that you don't feel like doing it, on the days that you don't feel like going to the next level. You should chew on it a little bit, just so you remember why you're doing this, and then spit that shit out and use that motivation to take yourself to the next level. Use that motivation to go even harder. Because the truth of the matter is, you're not helping anybody by shrinking. You're not helping anybody by shrinking back down to the person that they think you should be. You should shine your light so fucking bright that it blinds them and it forces them to lay out all of these insecurities that they have hidden inside of themselves. And it forces them to examine these insecurities, and it forces them to make a decision. Either I'm going to continue to live in this pain that I'm inflicting on myself. You see what that is? When people have envy, when they talk about others, when they chatter, when they go against you, they're putting themselves in a very, very deep state of pain that they have to live in. That pain is not being inflicted by you. You are just shining your light, and that light is shining in them little shadows where they're hiding this ego, and it's lighting up this pain so they can see it and they can choose to either live with it or become better and fucking deal with it. I also want to encourage you guys, if you're like this with anybody, I don't give a fuck who it is. I want you to cheer on success. I want you to push people to the next level. I want you to get so hyper focused on putting the right type of energy in the world that you have no time to hate on other people. If you see people doing well and it hurts you inside to see these things, you've got some fucking work to do. You got to go start speaking their success into the world. As hard as that may be for you, you've got to go out and start rooting for people to succeed. And I'm telling you, you live with this intent, you change that attitude, you start going out, pushing people up, rooting for them to succeed. It's not going to be long that who you are, which that's really who we are. That other shit comes from somewhere else. Who you are will shine through, and that attitude will take over, and you won't have to worry about that shit anymore. You'll become an individual that's like iron. And when you come together with other people, you'll sharpen each other. And that's where you want to be, my friends. That is where you want to be. So anyhow, y'all, think about that. Use it for motivation. All right? Use it for motivation. Lean into that darkness. Use that for motivation. Don't digest it. Stop letting shit hurt your feelings, man. It's never about you. Look, when you get to the point in life, whether it's a compliment or whether it's an insult, you take both of them with a grain of salt. Because you're probably not that good and you're not that bad. Take both of them with a grain of salt. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you need to turn your focus away from outside validation and begin validating your own shit, regardless of what anybody thinks. All right, y'all. Appreciate you. And as usual, I'm going to see you on the next one.